What up, G's, bro? Man, I got something a little special for you today, something a little spicy. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about two people in particular, that being Anthony Weiner and Hillary Clinton, allegedly. Epstein too was somewhat involved in these things, but we're gonna attack all that here soon. But if y'all know about the whole people using food to describe doing crazy acts with young ones, then you'll know that this is common practice. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna show y'all like the stuff that we knew before it became official, which whenever they dropped the files, I don't know if it's been like a year now, but before this, these type of conversations was being had. Like we didn't it was just on a deeper level of the truth-seeking community. But I'm gonna show y'all what we was looking at. Not this video in particular I'm about to show y'all, but this encapsulates what I'm talking about here. Um, and then we also have some more videos. I got some clips. I might just do this like react to this video and add commentary to it, and then do the other video next time because last time I got carried away and my first video was 53 minutes. And that's not well wasn't what I was intending to do. So let's get into this, man.
Are you aware of any files that were on Anthony Weiner's laptop in a folder that was titled insurance, life insurance, with a zip file titled frazzled?
This is way outside the chairman's ruling. This is way outside the scope.
Wow. Okay, so let me give you some context real quick. I don't even feel safe looking this man's name up, but can we get like a basic description of the guy? I didn't want to go Wikipedia, but uh Anthony David Weiner, born September 4th, 1964, an American politician and sex offender from the state of New York. Why is everybody in New York? That one producer that that produced for Biggie, the Island Boy weirdo, and this weirdo, all New York. He is also known for his involvement in multiple sex scandals, one in which led to his resignation from the House, and another which became an issue for the 2016 United States presidential election and led to Weiner's eventual incarceration. So, if y'all don't remember, this dude was like outspoken during for Hillary at the time during the 2016 election when it was her against Trump. That's basically who this guy is in a nutshell. I don't really feel like getting too much into it. His little turtle face. You know what's so crazy though? I was looking him up recently or before I started this video, and I'm pretty sure the dude's out and like trying to make a comeback. Just like, bro, some stuff you just can't come back from, gang. Just let it go. You should be happy you're alive, bro, and that you live in a world where you can do stuff like that and weirdos will protect you, right? You should just be happy with that. You got a little too much dip on your chip trying to make a return. You got way too much dip on your chip.
On Anthony Weiner's laptop in a folder that was titled insurance, life insurance, with a zip file titled frazzled.
This is way outside the chairman's ruling. This is way outside the scope. Is this within the scope, Mr. Chair?
On top of that, there's the Anthony Weiner laptop, which I don't know if you heard this. I wrote an article about that too. 675,000 Clinton emails when they got Anthony Weiner's laptop in a search warrant because of all his sex perversion issues. It was all the Clinton emails, the Clinton Foundation, her Secretary of State emails, Huma Abedin's emails, because they were the BlackBerry backup emails that they were supposed.
So if you remember at the time of the presidency, there was a lot of like jokes about not even I guess they were jokes too, but the common thing that people kept saying was like they kept making email jokes. They're like, ah, the emails. Why don't you explain the emails? At the time, I was aware of the Pizzagate stuff, but what they're referring to is called frazzle drip, Jesus. But I didn't realize that that's what they were referring to. I'm thinking that they're talking about some other political stuff that I didn't care about because I'm not watching political debates. But they were genuinely wanting her to, well, not genuinely, they were WWE. They don't really care. But they were referencing this, which is so crazy because it was so easily like looked over. Like we really let that slide. Like that should have been one of the times right there where like no, nothing else can go until we figure out what happened right here. But it wasn't that.
It was all the Clinton emails, the Clinton Foundation, her Secretary of State emails, Huma Abedin's emails, because they were the BlackBerry backup emails that they were supposedly just looking for everywhere very diligently. Well, guess what they did when they found them on the Wiener laptop? They got a search warrant for things that didn't include the BlackBerry backup emails. So when they told us, when he stood there and said that day, oh, you know, we've reviewed all the emails now, there's nothing there, that was a bald-faced lie. There's a lot that can be prosecuted, I have no doubt, on that laptop. And
Okay, this is another thing too. A lot of people, and it's understandable. I'm not going to sit here and act as if it's illogical, but people want to believe that like when the FBI or the CIA does an investigation and say that there's nothing, that means there's nothing. This is not true. Not only are these pe these bodies ran by humans, which make mistakes, but they also lie a lot actually. Just for instance, think about every single time they kept telling us that either there is no files or the files ain't there, or they looked through the files and he didn't do nothing, it was just him, or all this other stuff. And then how many of these other billionaires come out like, oh, I didn't know him. Oh, we see you with him. Oh, well, we didn't talk that much. Oh, well, y'all emailed like 300 times. Oh, well, it's always they will just lie, bro. They will just lie. So keep that in mind. Also, keep that in mind when they tell you something that is true. Because if they are willing to lie to you for power, for lack of a better term, or for the sake of not having the specifics on every single situation that these weirdos are doing. For the most part, it all wraps around into having control, which is power, which is all that. And when it comes to having power, obviously you want to control the narrative. So if they're telling you something that's true, they're still likely only telling you that because it helps their narrative. You see what I'm saying? Like, for instance, if me and you get into a fight, you feel me? Because I called you names and I called your family names, so then you hit me. So then we started fighting, and someone asked me what happened. I'm gonna say he hit me and we started fighting. That's not a lie. That's literally what happened. But I'm only telling you the truth because that me saying that he hit me and we started fighting helps my narrative. You know what I'm saying? Just because that's the truth doesn't mean that I didn't tell you the full truth about the fact that I started it by antagonizing you first by calling you names and stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is what they'll do. Like they'll come out and tell you some truth and make you think you know something, but you really don't. You know the pieces. Or sometimes they'll even tell you some stuff just because it was getting exposed or was about to get exposed and they knew they couldn't stop it. So they just come out and give you a bunch of info that leads to a bunch of nowheres and then conflicting statements. So then we can just sit here and just have 1,000 theories and fantasize about who could be right, like it's a game or something. But it ain't that.
You told me at any point over the last 10 years that Hillary Clinton would end up in front of the federal government being questioned about Pizzagate and Frazzle Drip, I would have called you crazy.
We got people in the truth community who's going to be like, believe in everything that we say, no matter what. And then we also have those people who's going to be, you know, skeptical, like overly skeptical. And then you got those middle grounders. So in this particular case, this was a one where a lot of the more believe in everything people were into this, the more skeptical were kind of like they felt like it was true to an extent, but people were over exaggerating what was really happening in these videos and stuff because it was just so diabolical. Like we know that the weirdos at the top are weirdos, but this is like overly weirdo. This is like so weirdo that it sounds fake. This is what people were thinking. Turns out, allegedly, not saying that this is real, not even trying to imply that, but allegedly there's some validity to it because Hillary Clinton is currently going through some type of, I don't even know, a hearing. I don't even want to call it like a trial or anything because it ain't that. They just asking, I guess. I don't know. But and just like I said earlier, just because they're doing that doesn't mean like, oh, we're really getting to the bottom of this. We're really cleaning up the scum. Like, no, that don't mean that. It literally just means what I just said. They're just asking. But and they already know. So whatever they're asking, they already know. This is just for us. So why are they telling us this? Or why are they presenting it as if it is true, allegedly? Because I wasn't there. But yeah, that's what you should ask yourself. And then also, it seems like he has some other stuff about Haiti. We're probably not gonna get into that. Like Jack Harlow right here for a second.
One of the devices the FBI seized from Weiner was his laptop.
Okay, this is what I was about to say. So this is why I called it the files before the files. It's like the Island Boy weirdo files, but this one is a little bit more. It's like prehistoric and it's untapped. It has to be like think about all the stuff they told us about the weirdo Island Boy and the fact that they wouldn't tell us about this. Now it was a different time. I mean, not that long. It was like 10 years ago, 2016. Crazy, right? Time flies. But you have to question the fact that like if this is all just, genuine curiosity, like these people that's asking these questions like governmental wise and CIAs and FBI's doing these investigations and stuff, maybe they just really didn't know and they just wanted to know. That is true. Or it's true that that could be possible. But we also have to ask ourselves just because, like, for instance, we know that they lied about what was in the files, but they knew what was in the files. But then they told us anyway, but they're still leaving out some stuff. So obviously we know they're out here trying to control the information. So what makes you or this makes you wonder why would they bring this up now? Because that those clips of Hillary Clinton explaining herself in the beginning about like what this was about and stuff, that was relatively recent. I'm pretty sure that was more recent than not. I don't think that's an old clip. It's hard to tell because she's been old forever. But we're gonna see.
2018, about 2 years after the investigation began, rumors online started circulating that investigators had found a folder on the laptop titled Life Insurance. Inside that folder was allegedly a video file titled frazzled.rip. Allegedly, the video shows two separate occurrences of Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin performing a satanic ritual. Both videos allegedly show a young girl that is used as a sacrifice. It was apparently a very long and drawn-out event, with both videos lasting several minutes each. If you've ever heard of that Batman comic where the Joker removes his face to wear it as a mask. That's pretty much the main claim here. But rumor has it that there was between 9 and 12 NYPD officers who saw Weiner's laptop, which we know contained incriminating information on Hillary Clinton and other powerful people in government. In an interview with Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith, the professor of organic chemistry at Cornell University, had this to say in regards to Weiner's laptop.
Anthony Weiner's laptop were ever released, the government would fall. Weiner's laptop had kill switches in it. I mean, it was filled with crap that wasn't supposed to be there. We never get to see it. Supposedly 9 cops watched the videos on Weiner's laptop. They had to keep leaving the room because they couldn't stand what they were seeing. And all 9 are now dead. And there's names and faces and deadness, right? They're real people. Now you can say.
And then we get to stuff like this, right? People will still argue. Like, for me, I use my brain, right? People will still argue that maybe they just happen to, you feel me? It maybe, who knows? Maybe I know what they're already going to say. Like, if this ever came to question, like, what happened to these cops, I already know what they're going to say. Well, the stuff that was in there was very crazy, depression and, da 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 da. This person drank alcohol and this person had a divorce. And they're going to just bring all these personal things up and then say things like, oh, they was on alcohol, and oh, they had prescription medicine. Like, that's not 90% of America. Like, that's not what they promote. They want us to do those things. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? But they'll frame it in a way that's like, oh yeah, all these things culminated and just made this crazy coincidental happening. Allegedly, I don't know what happened to them, but you see what I'm saying? Like, people will really do that. And then also, what is the likelihood? We have an idea of what these videos contained in them if you go look online, right? Horrible stuff. Then you hear about the stories of the officers watching those same videos. It seems, and these are not officers that like usually get your bike out of the fence or something. They're not the dudes that's riding around giving you rides home or making sure that the cars stop when you're crossing back from school. It's not those type of officers. These are like real detectives that see murders all the time. Like, they walk into rooms where murders happen, walking across dead bodies looking for evidence. If somebody's getting killed on camera, they watch the video. These are those type of detectives, and they are tweaking. So what is the likelihood that they're not seeing the crazy stuff that we know is in there, and they're just seeing some other totally unrelated crazy stuff that just happens to fit perfectly with the stuff? You know what I'm saying? But allegedly, though.
Hey, well, maybe they died for other reasons. I go, but it's still 9 cops. And, it's like the 5 cops who died after January 6th, right? The 4 of them were suicides.
The 9 dead cops part is verifiably true. According to CNN, 9 NYPD officers died in 2019 from an apparent department-wide mental health crisis. This included 3 NYPD officers who all apparently took their lives in the span of less than 10 days. And like I said, officially this was written off.
I told you. I literally told you. I told you. You ain't tell me. Nah, I really told you though. On my soul, I told you, bro. I've been doing this for a long time, bro. I know how they get down, bro. But it's cool, bro.
The weirdest part to me is that the media doesn't really acknowledge how weird this is. Could you imagine this happening at your job? Maybe you work at Best Buy, maybe you work at Walmart or the gym or something, and your coworkers just start disappearing. They're dropping like flies. 9 of them disappear, 3 in less than 10 days. And Walmart tells you there's a mental health crisis at the store. Would you believe that? Obviously, cops work a much more stressful job than most of us do, but still, that's clearly not normal. That's absurd. Not impossible, but that's enough to make any reasonable person ask questions. And that's why you hear the theory repeated a lot of times that these 9 officers were whistleblowers, or at least some of them were going to blow the whistle on what was on Weiner's laptop, and they had to be taken out. Now, do I think that's necessarily what happened? Probably not. But it is weird enough to make you suspicious and ask more questions. And if that did happen to even just one of
Why probably not though? Why probably not though? Like, what evidence did you got that that's like unlikely? What makes you believe that that's not likely? I would love to ask that. I don't know, maybe some people like to cover their tracks. That's how they cover their tracks. But why is it not likely? I don't get that. I don't get that. We know for a fact that when people don't do what our government wants them to do, that they get whacked. We know that this is true. Like, this is not even a conspiracy. We done heard the CIA bragging about how many coups they've done, which is taking over a foreign uh country, land. It depends on what level they're trying to do it on, and then putting in a dictator or putting people in political office that they want in there so they can control that place from the outside. And a lot of the times that comes with an assassination. Not all the time, but sometimes that comes with an assassination. Like, we know that this is a thing that does a thing. Like, you feel me? We done seen it. I was just like, we done seen it. So I don't understand why that would be so unlikely. I feel like what's more likely? Some people ran into some super sensitive information that could never be exposed because even the people who got the information didn't expose it. It can't be exposed, and they all just pass away in 1 year because of a mental health crisis. Like, it's like contagious, like it just flies in the air. Or they ran into some super sensitive information that can't be found, and then they all got killed in 2019. What sounds more realistic to you? Coincidental lining up of depression and mental health issues that happen to culminate all the way into the point of death, all in one small area with 9 people who all specifically have a shared experience of seeing some super sensitive data that can never be released, or vice versa. Like, they were taken even allegedly. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. Genuinely, I wasn't there.
these officers, I think people should know about it. And a lot of other people agree clearly because that's why the whole conspiracy theory exists. There's just a whole bunch of weird circumstances that naturally get people curious and wondering if there's something more going on here behind the scenes. On November 2nd, 2016, True Pundit published an article about the newly discovered emails relating to Hillary the NYPD discovered on Weiner's laptop. Breaking bombshell: New York Police Department blows whistle on new Hillary emails. In the article, they have a quote that they credit to the New York Police Department chief. "What's in the emails is staggering, and as a father, it turned my stomach. There's not going to be any Houdini-like escape from what we found. We have copies of everything. We will ship them to WikiLeaks, or I will personally hold my own press conference if it comes to that." Now, this isn't coming from a source that I would say seems particularly credible. Even the website seems kind of janky and low budget. The images to articles on the front page don't even load. There's just a bombardment of clickbait Facebook ads. And they also don't give a name of the New York Police Department chief that allegedly said this. Well, Steve Silks was NYPD deputy chief from December 2006 until his death in June 2019. Silks had worked on the force for 39 years and was just days away.
That picture sound effect was so loud. Golly. Feel like I got flashbang.
Away from retirement when he was found in an unmarked patrol car in civilian clothes with a gunshot wound to the head. This was obviously ruled to be self-inflicted, and it was the same injury that all 9 other officers who passed that year also sustained. The official story, which has been supported by Silk's family, friends, and colleagues, was that stress was likely the main factor here. Silks lived alone with no immediate family nearby, and his dedication to the police force was a central part of his identity. The NYPD does have a mandatory retirement age of 63 years old, and Silks was approaching his 63rd birthday. So retirement was something that he was being forced into unwillingly, And I don't doubt the idea of a lonely man nearing the end of his life wanting to go out on his own terms, especially when there doesn't seem to be much left for him to do with his life. But in theory, retirement could also pose as a potential loose end for someone who knows too much about a certain case. Now, of course, we have to talk about Hillary's deposition because that's the main reason I'm making this video at all, right? She was questioned about Frazzle Drip and Pizzagate in front of the federal government. As we all know, regardless of if these conspiracy theories are true or not, this is all for show, right? Even if they are completely 100% true, no charges are ever actually going to materialize for Bill or Hillary Clinton. But the fact that these questions were asked at all has
Facts. And that's what I was saying. Ask yourself, why are they telling us this? Because nothing's going to happen. Let's be real. Like, even if something happens, nothing's going to happen. There's like so many ways around it. They'll give you like the minor charges in these nice prisons that you can leave. They'll give you like some probation or something, or they'll even mess around and get a fake you and put you in there and then let you still be out. Like they'll do whatever they got to do to not put you in there.
gotten a lot of people talking about these things again. And more specifically, a lot of people are talking about Hillary and her lawyers' reactions when they were being questioned.
Are you aware of any files that were on Anthony Weiner's laptop in a folder that was titled insurance, life insurance, with a zip file titled Frazzle?
I'd like the chairman's ruling. Is this within the scope? Is this within the scope, Mr. Chairman?
If the chairman rules that it's not within the scope,
Mr. Chairman, based on what you said in the public hearing, is this within the scope?
Some people are saying that she grabbed her face out of panic. Others are even saying that it was out of muscle memory, and I think the latter is a little bit of a ridiculous insinuation. Like, I think she can control herself enough to not do that out of muscle memory.
That's not funny, bro. Like, bro, this is why we can't have serious dialogue, bro. See, look, he even about to laugh, bro. They look like Jack Harlow even more now, bro. All right, let's continue.
Memory, like, oh, I remember when I wore that girl's face. So, to play devil's advocate, quite literally, I don't think from Hillary's perspective that her reaction was very unreasonable at all. I can definitely see why people are interpreting it as guilt, but at the same time, if this is all just a conspiracy that's been circulating for the better part of a decade, I bet you she is pretty tired of hearing about it. But what particularly struck me, and I think many others as odd, is her lawyers' reactions, because they absolutely went ballistic when they heard this question. They lost their minds and just started screaming. And it's not like they even denied it either. They didn't say this is nonsense or it's not true. They didn't object to it. They just start yelling about, is this within the scope? Is this within the scope of questioning? Do we have to answer? And then they went off record to discuss that, which I think is completely ridiculous, and I think most people would agree that should not be allowed. It doesn't really matter though, it doesn't change anything because she was obviously gonna deny it the same way that she denied Pizzagate and any connections with Epstein during the same deposition when she was asked about that. And of course, the Clintons are extremely trustworthy people, so I completely just take her word for it. Now, at this point in the video,
Now, that should tell you all you need to know. They said, do we got to answer that? Is it within the scope? Y'all seen I'm so ghetto. But yeah, is it within the scope? And then they went off record. So, I mean, that should tell you. They basically went off record, and then they was like, bro, what are y'all doing a lie? And it was like, well, allegedly, theoretically, in a hypothetical fantasy world that I'm making up in my head right now, they were probably like, yo, like, what y'all doing? Y'all asking, y'all wilding. And they was like, well, we gotta ask, bro, because the people been asking, bro, if you just deny it if you want to deny it. And it's like, bro, but if we deny it, it's gonna be hard to keep that up because then it's all over the internet. It's, they was like, all right, bet. We'll just leave it at that. And then they left it at that.
I was going to talk about the theory that this was a possible psyop in order to make Pizzagate and other future conspiracy theories of that nature more easily dismissible, because it really is just all word of mouth, where in comparison Pizzagate is a much deeper, more fleshed out rabbit hole to go down. But I want to skip that now because while researching, I found new connections and information that I have not seen anyone talk about yet.
And this is just a little, little something light. I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do, but this keeps popping up on my timeline. Like they're trying to push this, so I'm gonna push it with them if that's what y'all want to do. But I'm gonna make sure that you feel me. If y'all hearing this information, y'all gonna get a better way of breaking down and processing the information, and then I'll add on more information that's related that you may or may not have heard, you may or may have not forgotten. And we're gonna keep on doing this, bro. We're gonna keep on chilling, bro. Uh, if y'all want to see something else in particular, bro, just let me know. It ain't never no thing but a chicken wing to get it done. Uh, I'm gonna probably try to get to doing a little bit more like history, but like, you know, not alternative history, but like more like correcting history. You know what I'm saying? Little things that you may you thought was this, but turns out we know for a fact it wasn't that. I would like to do a few of those too, just so y'all can see how long of a game they really do play. But yeah, shout out to y'all, man. My dog bit me. It hurts, but it's cool. That's my guy, I guess. Peace and love to the Most High, man. Peace and love to all of y'all. Hope all is well with y'all as it is with me. I'm done. Don't ever let any of this information get you, uh, put you in a position where you feel like life is like terrible or it's like, don't do that. All right, you feel me? If you do that, then you're definitely letting them win because that's what they want you to be, like low frequency and just enough energy to do what you need to do to survive. That's what they want. So don't do that. Just be aware and make the best choices you can make. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, I appreciate y'all, man. This is going to be the worst editing I've ever done in my life, but I love y'all, so I'm going to do it, man. Bye bye.